Watching the 4 o'clock news on News Channel 4, the news leader.
Hi everyone, Kevin Ogle with you. Let's get you straight to McAllister involving the execution of Richard Glossip. Let's go to our team down there right now, Allie Meyer and Abby Broyles. We have a news conference happening right now.
And we'll be here to address you all shortly.
I need prompter. Well, we're waiting on a news conference right now from prison officials. We have been told that they're going to be talking here in just a little bit. What happened earlier was a last-minute plea to spare the life of Richard Glossip. The U.S. Supreme Court denied that stay in a vote of 8-1. Stephen Breyer, the only one that voted to go ahead and stay the execution, but it will go on as scheduled. And now we are getting word that there has been a stay of execution granted by Governor Mary Fallin. That's what's happening right now. You see that information being passed out. So once again, if the information we're getting is spot on here, is that the governor has granted a stay of execution of Richard Glossip. Again, this is a man who's already had his last meals twice, because remember, he was scheduled to be executed a couple of weeks ago, 11th hour stay there. It has happened again, apparently, is what we're hearing. And let's go to our Abby Broyles, who is outside the prison right now. All right, we're going to get Abby plugged into our sound, and we'll get to her in just a second. But again, you are hearing that the governor has granted a stay for Richard Glossip, again, who was convicted of a murder in 1997, sentenced more than 16 years ago for the murder of motel manager Barry Van Treese. And now let's go to Abby Broyles. We have her wired up and ready to go. Abby, what happened out there?
Okay, go.
Kevin, it has been a back and forth all day long. We've first heard this morning that there's going to be a delay. We were waiting to hear what the Supreme Court was going to do, and so the execution was delayed here at the state pen. And then we were just waiting for our own Allie Meyer to get in a van and actually go be a witness to the execution. And then we got word just a few moments ago, right before we went on air, that Governor Mary Fallin has issued a stay to look at the lethal injection protocol. She wants the attorneys to work with DOC and decide whether the cocktail they're going to use is going to work out. If there have been a lot of legal issues regarding the drug cocktail. You remember, midazolam was the drug last year that was controversial. And I'm bringing Allie Meyer here because they had prepped her. She was ready to go over to the H unit. That is where they do the executions. And Allie, what do you know?
All right, well, let me just start by reading to you this issue that has just come down to us from Governor Mary Fallin. The headline: Governor Mary Fallin has issued a stay of Richard Glossip's execution to address questions regarding lethal injection protocols. I'm just going to read to you directly from this order coming to us from the Department of Corrections via Mary Fallin's office. It says, Governor Mary Fallin has issued a 37-day stay of execution of Richard Glossip's execution to address legal questions raised today about Oklahoma's execution protocols. The stay will give the Department of Corrections and its attorneys the opportunity to determine whether potassium acetate is compliant with the state's court-approved execution procedures. It goes on to say, quote, last-minute questions were raised today about Oklahoma's execution protocol and the chemicals used for lethal injection. Those are the words of Mary Fallin. Fallin goes on to say, quote, after consulting with the Attorney General and the Department of Corrections, I have issued a 37-day stay of execution while the state addresses those questions and ensures it is complying fully with the protocols approved by the United States Supreme Court. Now, this bulletin goes on to say the new execution date will be Friday, November 6th. And then another quote from Mary Fallon: "My sincerest sympathies go out to the Vantrease family who has waited so long to see justice done," said Mary Fallon. The last line of the press bulletin is this: "The stay is being filed by the Oklahoma Secretary of State and will be available to the public a little later today." So this one-page press statement coming to us about 4 o'clock, about 1 hour after the scheduled execution of Richard Glossip. We are so close, Kevin, that I want to show you over here this white van that you're seeing with the number 2 on it. This is the van that the media witnesses were preparing to ride in to go just over that hill that you see there to H Unit, or what is known as Death Row. About 2 hours ago, they selected 5 media witnesses. My name was drawn out of the hat first. There was a witness from the Frontier, an online newspaper out of Tulsa, also from the NBC affiliate out of Tulsa. There was an AP witness and another witness from the media. So 5 media witnesses preparing to go witness the execution of Richard Glossip, which was expected to happen about an hour ago. This very latest development has just come into us from the Department of Corrections, apparently via the governor's office. We are told that Department of Corrections Director Robert Patton would be delivering this news to the Vantrease family. There are several members of Barry Vantrease's family who had come here to McAllister, to the Oklahoma State Penitentiary, to witness the execution of their loved one's killer. So they would be getting the news directly from the director. We also assume that Richard Glossip.
All right, we're losing the signal there, but again, Allie explaining it very well, as was Abby Broyles, that the governor has issued a 37-day stay of execution for Richard Glossip because of questions regarding lethal injection protocols. And of course, we've got our full teams on this. We'll have the very latest information and reaction from both sides on this coming up for you a little bit later. But again, Friday, November 6th is now the new execution date for Richard Glossip. He was convicted of murder back in 1997, conspiracy of paying somebody to commit a murder. And this is the second time in the last 2 or 3 weeks that his execution has been stayed at the 11th hour, as we say, right before he was due to be executed. He's already had his final meal again, as he did last time. So we'll continue to follow this, have the very latest on this for you coming up at 4:30.